Hi class, we are going to work in this video the Identify the Shape example from Chapter 2. What we're going to do is look at 4 different frequency distribution histograms, and we're going to determine the shape that these histograms make. I'm going to start with the histogram that's on the top left of the screen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow the bars, and I'm going to indicate this by drawing a smooth curve that roughly connects all of these bars. And when I do that, I notice that as I go left to right, I increase, and then I reach a peak or mode in the middle, and then I decrease again at roughly the same rate that I was increasing. What this creates is a shape that has a peak or mode in the middle and that is roughly symmetric on either side of that mode. This creates the bell shape or the normal distribution. So I'm going to write normal. Okay. If I proceed to the next histogram that's on the top right, I'm going to do the same kind of deal. I'm going to follow my bars of the histogram. And as I do, I notice that each of these bars have roughly the same frequency. And what that does for me is I notice that they're roughly the same height. When most of your bars have roughly the same frequency, we're going to say that this is a uniform distribution. Notice that not all the bars are exactly the same. That is okay. It's approximately uniform. So I'm going to go ahead and write uniform. Okay, so the third histogram I'm going to indicate as the bottom left example. And I'm going to keep my same strategy. I'm going to follow my histogram and look at all those frequency bars. And for this example, I notice as I go left to right, I'm increasing very quickly. I reach my peak or my mode in the middle, and then I decrease as I go to the right of that mode pretty slowly. And what this does is it creates a shape that has its mode or peak to the left of the distribution, and the tail, because I decrease slowly, that kind of creates a tail that points to the right. So to name the distribution, we are going to follow the tail and say that this is skewed to the right or right skewed. Doesn't quite look like a W there, I apologize. So I'm going to write right skewed. All right, so the final histogram is the one on the bottom left, or the bottom right rather. And when I follow this histogram, if I look at each of these bars, I notice that I increase very slowly from the left, and I finally get to the peak, which is kind of towards the right of my histogram, and then I decrease fairly rapidly as I go to the right of that peak or that mode. What this has done is it's created a shape that has the mode or peak to the right of the histogram and a tail facing to the left. Again, we're going to follow our tail and we're going to call this left skewed.